Hey, y'all from Tennessee. Welcome to the State and Beale podcast. This is the place where we celebrate Tennessee, the volunteer state, the Big Bend state, the hog and hominy state. On this show, we love Tennessee from State Street in Bristol to Beale Street in Memphis, with apologies always to Mountain City. My name is Toby Sells. I'm the host and producer on this show. I'm also founder and editor of State and Beale, an online magazine and just a hub for Tennessee lifestyles. Head over to stateandbeale.com to check out the winter issue, and we're going to talk about that here in just a few, and I'll bring you some selections from that. While you're over on the website, please drop me your email address so that you can get a little Tennessee love in your inbox every single week. Later in the show, I talk with Sean Clark about a huge off-roading event happening this weekend in East Tennessee. The 4th annual Winter Wonderland event will bring together about 200 off-road vehicles and about 300 people to Oliver Springs, Tennessee. That's just northwest of Oak Ridge and about 20 miles northwest of Knoxville. For the event, teams of drivers will convoy through the massive Windrock Park facility out there. It sounds super fun and a great way to get outside when the temps are down here in Tennessee. Man, I wish I were going. Shoot, maybe next year. All right, well, that's coming up on the back part of the show. For now, though, let's take a trip through the winter issue of State and Beale. Now, y'all, this magazine is truly for all Tennesseans. I tried to make sure every part of the state was represented in here, from small towns to big cities. So in here we have food, travel, big events, and more. But on this segment, I'll share 3 of those stories right here and now, starting with my letter from the editor. My fellow Tennesseans, I was nervous when I published the first issue of State and Beale in September. What if it looked terrible? I'm not a designer. What if I got something wrong, bad wrong, and it looked like I didn't know what I was talking about? What if no one loved Tennessee like me? Now, I highly doubted that last part. As for the rest, the response has been overwhelming and overwhelmingly kind. Not only am I completely certain that so many of y'all love Tennessee just like I do, I know you want to hear more about our great state. State and Beale has also been a catalyst for new Tennessee adventures for me and my family. Last year, we traveled to Sewanee from Memphis with an overnight stay at a farmhouse in Savannah. And now for it, we drove straight east. Instead of hopping up on 40 and going over that way, we went straight through South Tennessee. And I'd never really visited that part of the state before, and it's incredible. Hagee's Catfish Hotel was on the way, and it sounded like the full Tennessee ticket, and it was. Golden fried catfish, hush puppies, and lemon pie for dessert. Now that is hard to beat. I also found out why they call it a hotel and felt like we'd really discovered an amazing part of Tennessee thanks to State and Beale. You can read more about it in the winter issue. Also, I grew up on the Cumberland Plateau, but I'd never seen its profile cut so dramatically as when we neared Sewanee. The plateau's rugged awe also brought those steep, white-knuckling, cut-back turns. For this driver, who's now used to the Delta Flatlands, I made it through. But all of it was worth the experience for that stately, elegant town that impresses with just an effortless charisma. And now for all of this, I'm having a blast creating State and Beale. But this magazine is also a startup business. So I may ask y'all to become subscribers down the road and pay a small little subscription, maybe $5 an issue or $20 a year, something like that. This is going to help me keep the lights on and illuminate more amazing corners of our beloved Tennessee. Oh, and if you pick up the winter issue, you'll see my byline all over the thing. That's the one that says written by Toby Sells. Now, I don't care about credit. I just want y'all to know that this content is written by a real human being, not some AI chatbot. Also, you'll know who to holler at if I do get something wrong. Anyhow, thank y'all so much for your support. And now over to our gift guide. Now, we knew by the time that we had kind of digitally printed the magazine that there were only going to be 4 more days remaining until Santa Claus came to Tennessee. But we know it's always a good time to shop with local artists, artisans, makers, small businesses, especially for the proud Tennessean on your list. So here are 3 gifts from 3 Tennessee companies that just can't miss. The first one's from Hound Dog Apparel. They're a Memphis company, and we like their Windjammer t-shirt. If you're in Memphis, you remember the Windjammer, that amazing dive and karaoke bar out on Poplar. Oh no, I picked my Memphophile friend in the Secret Santa, and he has everything. Number one, no he doesn't. Number two, Hound Dog Apparel's got your back. If your friend is nostalgic for days of yore, click over to Hound Dog's Vintage Memphis section for some tasty wayback treats. Do you miss Bookstar? Check. Jonesing for some Pho Ben? Anderton's or a Patty Melt from CK's? Check. Our pick here, though, is that Windjammer t-shirt. It's a classic style for times you don't remember. Maybe they're into sports. Well, look no further than a throwback Grizz shirt. There's also a Go Tigers Go shirt over there featuring a dancing tiger that looks like the Grateful Dead dancing bear. Rachel Ford is Hound Dog's founder, creator, and everything else. Her designs artfully capture sepia-toned memories from the past. But Ford also kept up to the second. Now, you go over to the website and look at the Huey's themed shirt called First Date. If you're in Memphis, you get that reference. And as a special treat to readers of State and Beale and this podcast, you can use the code STATEBEALE, STATEBEALE, for free shipping on any order placed through March 2025. The next gift we suggest is the Rocky Top glove from Chattanooga-based Hand Up. Hand Up's apparel is equal parts bold, laid back, and sturdy enough for miles of grabbing handlebars and beers. The company was founded in Chattanooga in 2014 by husband and wife team Cody and Jamie Wallace. Both of them avid cyclists, they were disappointed by the lack of fun and durable cycling gloves in the market, and so they began crafting gloves in their spare bedroom. 10 years later, Hand Up is still going strong, and the company now also offers a ton of great gear for everyone. Hand Up has hats, t-shirts, flannels, shorts, jorts, pants, jeans, socks, mugs, cookies, and a whole line of golf gloves and apparel. So our pick is the Rocky Top glove, which features the TriStar on the back and Rocky Top on the palm. And here's how Hand Up describes the gloves. Humidity you can swim through, sweet, slow smoke barbecue, and some of the best whiskey distilleries in the country comprise just a few things we love about this state. If you've ever seen the sun rise across the Smokies or set in the west just over the mighty Mississippi, don't miss this opportunity to tell that story on every bike ride. So that is the Rocky Top glove from Hand Up. Our final gift recommendation is the 112 Signature Leather Belt from Emil Irwin in Nashville. This classic belt from Nashville's Emil Irwin is built to stand the test of time both in style and in materials. Each is crafted one at a time and comes together in a buckle designed by the company that's distinctive, timeless, and hardworking. Emil Congdon began sewing and creating bags and almost anything else while in college at Middle Tennessee State University. He began making leather bags for his wife Leslie, who convinced him to sell his bags at craft shows. After winning one of Garden & Gunn's Made in the South awards, Congdon can hardly keep up with demand and work his day job. So he picked leatherwork and founded his Nashville studio, Emil Irwin. The name is a nod to Congdon's hometown, Irwin, in East Tennessee. Here's how the company describes the 112 Signature Belt. We've spent years designing our proprietary buckle, perfecting the fit, and sourcing the highest quality leather and hardware from U.S.-based companies for our signature belt. Practical and timeless, each belt is hand-sewn and finished in our Nashville studio using traditional techniques. In a set of feature stories that I just love, I call it Tennis Secrets, little lesser-known things about our great state. This one is called Tombs of the Capitol. Take a tour of the Tennessee State Capitol building in Nashville, and your tour guide, depending on which one or how they feel that day, may or may not mention that the beautiful building is home to tombs. Yes, the U.S. Capitol building famously has a crypt and Washington's tomb, but both of those chambers are empty. Not so for the Nashville structure that welcomes thousands of visitors each year, not to mention the hundreds of elected officials and state employees that occupy it almost every day. The commission to design Tennessee State Capitol went to Philadelphia architect William Strickland. One of his first big commissions, the Second Bank of the United States, would look familiar to anyone who's visited the Parthenon in Centennial Park. Strickland also designed the United States Naval Asylum and United States Mint buildings in Philadelphia, Charlotte, and New Orleans. Strickland modeled the Tennessee state capitol after an Ionic temple with Greek Revival architecture. The cornerstone was laid in 1845 and was completed 14 years later in 1859 at a 2024 cost equivalent of $30.5 million. Strickland never saw the building completed. He died in 1854, and the legislature at the time bestowed upon him a big, if not strange, honor. They allowed him to be entombed in the northeast wall. He lies there still. Years later, in 1880, Samuel Dold Morgan passed away. He was the chairman of the State Building Commission at the time of the Capitol's construction. He was entombed in the Capitol's southeast corner near the south entrance. Also, the final resting place of former President James K. Polk and his wife Sarah are not in the walls of the Capitol, but in a white tomb on the Capitol grounds. All right, now on the show today we have Sean Clark. He is the lead guide and event planner of Venture Unknown. The company is dedicated to adventure. Now, how cool is that? Don't you ever wish your job was dedicated to adventure? It sounds awesome. The company's mission is to explore, educate, and encourage folks to get outside and specifically off-road. You ever been driving down 40 and you see a Jeep or a big SUV with stuff just like bolted onto it? I'm talking like jerry cans, those like gas cans. There's like storage containers bolted on and sometimes even shovels. You know what I'm talking about? And they'll usually have those big gnarly tires on them. Well, vehicles like these are exactly the ones that do these events that Venture Unknown puts on. And the one this weekend at Windrock is huge. All right, a bit about Windrock. It is the largest privately owned off-road park in the country. It offers off-road and mountain biking trails throughout 73,000 acres of breathtaking East Tennessee. And it offers about 300 miles of trails to explore. And now Windrock is the site of Winter Wonderland this weekend. But it has events throughout the year, and it also has a full-service campground with cabins, RV sites, yurts, and tent sites. There's also a big general store there for anything you might need. And if you don't have an off-road vehicle, you can rent a side-by-side for the day and hit the trails. You can find more information on all of this over at windrockpark.com. Tell them State and Beale sent you. It won't get you a discount or anything, but Now, okay, so the park is in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. That's just outside of Oak Ridge and about 20 miles northwest of Knoxville, and it has convenient access to both 75 and 40. Anyhow, that is the site for Venture Unknown's big Winter Wonderland event this weekend. For more about it, let's hear from Sean Clark. He's the lead guide at Venture Unknown. All right, and Sean, welcome to the show, sir.
Hello. Good to meet you, Toby.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And again, I said before we hopped on here, I know you're busy because you have got this huge event coming up this weekend at Windrock Park. So Winter Wonderland, this is the fourth annual Winter Wonderland, and we'll get into kind of the story how it started in a minute, but it's basically a group trail ride through Windrock Park out there. And if you don't know, Windrock it says it's...
That is right. 73,000 acres. Started out as a coal mining operation and now has turned into what we call the Disneyland of off-roading.
The Disneyland of off-roading. I love that. And so, yeah, 73,000 miles, 300 miles of trails out there to go out. So you can bike, you can have these side-by-sides, off-road vehicles, a lot of Jeeps I'm seeing on these things. And so Windrock, the event that's coming up, is the winter event, but it's basically a big, huge group trail ride. Is that correct?
Yes, Windrock is a perfect venue for this, and it's large enough to handle the size of the event. And, anybody that hasn't been to Windrock Park, I highly recommend it, not just because of the park itself and the fun that it offers, but the staff and the people there are just top-notch, always very kind, and they allow us to host this thing, and we're very grateful for that.
And it's a 4-day event that gets started on Thursday, and so it's team-based trail rides. How does it work?
I have to start a little bit at the beginning, where in 2021, Venture Unknown hosted a ride up at Windrock in January, and about 26 trucks showed up. We had a good time. Everything was iced over and frozen, and I looked over at my wife and said, boy, it looks like a Winter Wonderland up here. It was absolutely beautiful. It was a lot of fun. And the following year, I put an event up on Facebook for us to go back. Thought it would be fun. And almost 200 trucks signed up for this event.
Wow.
All of a sudden. And then I had to scramble to figure out how to make it fun and presentable. And so that's when we started doing the raffles and the chili cook-offs and the veteran raffles. And then it's just gotten better and better each year. 2023 was our biggest year of almost 300 trucks in this field camping with us. And so now we learned from that year. Now we cap it at around about 200, which is what we're expecting this year, approximately 300 people. And we break it up. It feels like a big event when you're at the pavilion and the raffles are going on and all the activities and their education workshops. But when we go into the park, I have trail captains assigned that prepare for this thing months in advance, where we separate and kind of divide and conquer. And so even though there's so many trucks and so many people, the team ride days, when we leave that pavilion, you most likely won't see another soul. You'll only see your team.
Wow.
And that's all thanks to the wonderful captain that helped me put this on and the coordinators.
That's incredible. It sounds like, I know at Windrock anyway, there's a lot of different kinds of courses out there, from easy to really, really hard. Of course, I would be the easy guy. I mean, if it's paved, that's where I want to be on a golf cart. But yeah, I bet a lot of the folks that come out for this event, I mean, they're probably veterans at this. They've been at it for a long time. What can they expect when they hit the trails?
So our whole group is very diverse. With being Windrock, we try to be realistic on what we're going to accomplish or what we're trying to do with the snow. That it blesses us, I guess you could say, blesses and curses us every year. It exponentially makes things harder. The trail system in Windrock is rated as green, blue, black diamond, and double black diamond.
Okay.
We have a couple teams that run green. So to keep those people that really want to, as you say, bring the golf cart, they have an opportunity to do that and see some of the points of interest within the park. Most of us run blue trails during the team ride days, which is moderately difficult. And then on the free roam days, some of us will go hit black diamonds. Some of the people that are capable of hitting black diamonds will go do it. But the whole event is so packed full of activity. It's a good mixture of being out on the trail, because that is what brings us together, is the off-roading. But a lot of it is also focused at the pavilion and gives this feel of community, because that's super important with us is the people. People come first.
Absolutely. You know, when you get a group together, no matter what they like to do, I mean, if it's golf, it's off-roading, whatever, you get them together. And it's fun to be around like-minded folks like that. I love what you said on the side here. You know, folks you meet, they're just friends you haven't met yet. And I guarantee that happens every year out there.
Every year.
And so, yeah, you've got the chili cook-off, you've got raffles and prizes, you got workshops, flex ramp competition. What's that all about?
Flex ramp competition is where it is a single-sided ramp, meaning that you only put your front driver tires on this ramp, and you're trying to drive up this thing one-sided, and what it ends up doing is flexing your suspension in a way to where eventually you're going to lose traction. And when you lose traction, there's a way to score it to find out who has the most flex, who can get up the ramp the furthest, basically. And it's a lot of fun to see some quite amazing suspensions on these trucks that we build.
I mean, it sounds terrifying, to be honest with you. You know, I imagine, do people flip over trying to do this thing? Does that happen?
Yeah, they come close. Okay. I've never seen one. I've probably come a little close myself, but safety is paramount with this thing. We have the right people kind of guiding you up and, you know, trying to take it real slow and just don't push it too far.
Nice. What's the interest in this kind of off-roading right now? Has it grown?
It is. So I've been camping for 25 years. And a lot of people call overlanding glorified car camping. And it is what it is in a lot of ways. But the main definition that people will tell you overlanding is it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Okay.
It's trying to get from point A to point B to point C, and the things that may get in your way, whether it be obstacles or any challenges like that. That's the purpose in building these trucks the way they are, because ultimately what you're trying to do is get to camp. But a lot of the time is spent traveling on the trails. So that kind of sums up overlanding.
I think that was everything that I had. Was there anything we left out about Winter Wonderland or anything you want to add?
The only thing I'll add is that we have this saying that our community is where you are. And Oliver Springs, Tennessee has always been very welcoming to us being there. You know, there are, like I said, there's hundreds of us that come into this community. So what we focus on a lot is giving back to that community. And we do that in several different ways. One is Friday night, we have a veteran raffle that it's not even a raffle, it's more of a giveaway. We give every veteran and first responder a ticket, and we give away something to every one of these guys and ladies. And the other thing we do is that we give raffle tickets out free to people that bring food drive items. So we will collect food drive items and we donate these things to the Oliver Springs Missionary. It's a food bank right there in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Cool. And 2 years in a row, we have broke that county record. You would not believe the amount of food these folks bring to help this community. And it just really shows the heart in this thing. And it's a big thank you to Tennessee and Oliver Springs.
Well, Sean, hey, I know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much for taking just a few minutes here to talk to us about Winter Wonderland 2025 happening out there at Windrock Park. That is this weekend. If you can't make it, check it out online. It's kind of an amazing culture that y'all have going on out there. There's some videos out there that are really, really good too that I suggest to check out. I'll put those down in the show notes as well. But hey, Sean, thank you so much for taking the time, and you have a great day. Good luck with the event, buddy.
Oh, thank you, Toby.
All right, folks, that'll do it for this episode. Thank y'all so much for listening to State and Beale. Now, we're going to be back here in probably a couple of weeks, so stay tuned right here for more State and Beale. State and Beale was written, produced, and hosted by me, Toby Sells. Our winter issue is on the digital stands right now, so head over to stateandbeale.com and check it out and subscribe to our newsletter. I'll give your inbox a little Tennessee glow up every week, and make sure you don't miss our next issue. It's the spring issue. I'm working on it right now. Should be due up at the end of March. And if you want to advertise in the magazine or sponsor this podcast in the meantime, I'd love to talk to you. So hit me up at toby@stateandbeale.com. All right, thank y'all so much.